Welcome to the Startup Sac podcast, where we do interviews with Sacramento founders and innovators. Today I'm with Brenda. Brenda, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background and your startup?
Sure, thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm Brenda Tello Horton. I am the co-founder of ProPlanr. ProPlanr is an integrative planning and collaboration task management system for teams. It organizes all your plans, all your projects, all your tasks in one platform, and it's easily accessible by you and your team anywhere, anytime, on any device.
So, very cool productivity platform, vertical basically. Where did the idea come from to create this?
Well, it kind of came up simultaneously for my co-founder and for myself. I was a small business owner in Northern California, and I was very community oriented, and I was putting on a big fundraiser for a local children's nonprofit here in the Sacramento area. And it was a live and silent auction, gourmet food and wine tasting. So I had like 20 restaurants, 20 wineries, tons of live auction items, packages that we were going to auction off, and silent auction items. And then I had a volunteer team of about 12 people. So I had a lot of moving parts, a lot of logistics, a lot of planning involved, and I just didn't have any good productivity tools to use to organize my team and to plan this event. We were using Google Docs. We were having countless meetings. There were tons of emails going back and forth and phone calls, and it just it was very disorganized and fragmented. And I just there's got to be an easier way to execute an event and to plan an event. And around the same time, my co-founder, business partner, had been doing a lot of business technology and consulting work, and so he was helping his clients build a lot of plans and putting plans together. And again, they were being built on Google or Word document, and he was noticing that they were getting lost, the files were getting lost or misplaced, or the plans were actually sometimes even being ignored. People weren't even referencing them when it was time to implement the plans. And so we just came together, the two of us, and just there's got to be a much more efficient and more productive way for planning and projects and tasks coming together, integrated in a very seamless manner in an automated way.
So your quick elevator description might be something like, you make project planning for teams easy, or something. I mean, that's the essence of, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how there are other project planning tools out there, project management tools. What differentiates you, ProPlanr, from some of the others out there?
Well, first and foremost, we focus on the planning. We start with planning. Like, what is it? What is your vision? What is your end goal? What is the outcome that you're trying to achieve? And so we start with that. And I like to say that every vision deserves a plan. So once we're clear on what your vision is, then ProPlanr helps the user break that plan down into some very solid steps, action items. And that is all integrated with the task management portion of the software. And so that's really our differentiator. That's our unique proposition value, is that the planning is integrated with the task management software of
Does
the
it kind of
system.
lead you through it?
Mm-hmm.
Or, okay.
Right, yeah, because we ask questions like, what are your high-level plans? We ask you to describe your plan, to give it some detail, and why does this matter? Mm-hmm. Who is this going to benefit? So we ask some key questions to help people kind of think through their plans, and then with the task portion of it, it helps identify who your team members are and the due dates, and with calendars and so forth.
Okay. So you just pitched here at 1 Million Cups this morning, and I believe you mentioned that you are in beta right now. You have a beta, so you have a product.
Yes.
You have at least an MVP that works, and you're beta testing it. So talk a little bit about how long did it take you to get from the idea stage that you talked about to getting that MVP and beta testing?
Well, it actually took a long time, because we put out a first product a couple of years ago. We called it Action Planner, and we put it out in the marketplace. We had no idea what we were doing, and We actually had people download it, and we had some customers buy the software, but you couldn't collaborate together with it. You couldn't really share your plans. We just decided that we needed to shut it down and go back to the drawing board and start over. So that was a couple of years ago. Fast forward today, we've been working on this current version, ProPlanr, I would say for about the last year in development. We're self-funded, so we have to stop and start because we're consultants also. So we go, we generate our own revenue, and then we go and then we've got enough funds to go and work on ProPlanr. So that's kind of been our story the last year. But now we have a minimal viable product. We are in public beta for the individual plans, and our goal is to have the team version available by the summer of 2017.
Okay, so this summer. So you actually went through a little bit of a pivot, and when you got some feedback or some input from the marketplace that wasn't going to work,
right?
And you pivoted, and now you've got a pivot product out there, and you're getting feedback through the beta program.
Yes, and the feedback that we're getting from this one in public beta is great. People are like, I'm loving this, I'm using it, and they're giving us feedback on feature items too. Can you add this? Can you do this and that, and so forth.
So who's your target? Who's in the beta right now? Is it small, medium businesses? Is it nonprofits, enterprise? What level of customer are you?
Yeah,
focused
right now our public beta users are our own clients. So we do a lot of business planning and consulting work for our own clients, and we've got one client in particular here in Sacramento that is a heavy beta user. We're putting together some succession plans for them and some transition plans. They've got some key team leaders that are going to be leading the company, and so we've got some. We're putting some plans together with them on ProPlanr, and the feedback we're getting from them is they love it. It's great. They can't wait for the team version.
All right, so you've talked a little bit about you're self-funded. You're generating revenue at this point?
Not yet, no, because it's public beta, so it's all free right now. So we're hoping to have to be able to offer the software ProPlanr for sale by the end of this summer.
Okay, and so this summer you do that. Are you going to be going out looking for funding at that point for seed or Series A funding?
Yeah, we're looking for funding right now. So we are looking for $1 million in angel seed money. With that money, we would use that to hire marketers and developers, and that would help expedite the growth of ProPlanr. So we're looking for marketers who really have a deep understanding of internet marketing. Drive traffic to the website, and then once they're there at the website, have them convert to users, from trial users to users, and then paying customers. So that's really what we would need the money for. And then for the development end is to add more features and to use for customer support as well.
Okay. So what would you say are some key wins, some of the biggest wins you've had so far? I mean, startup life is hard. You talked about your bootstrapping, you're doing consulting to fund this. What are some of the things that you look at that were just, big solid wins for you so far at ProPlanr?
Well, I think the startup life is much like a roller coaster ride. There's some huge highs and some huge lows, and some, I think there's also some self-doubt along the way, like, oh my God, am I doing the right thing? It's definitely not for everyone, but a recent win that we had is we just got a call from South by Southwest in early March. And Southwest has several pitch competitions that they themselves host and produce. There's a lot of pitch competitions going on at South by Southwest, but this was their own, and it was called Release It, and it was for all startups. Thousands of people apply from all over the world, and so we got a call about a week before South by Southwest saying, you've been selected, because I had applied back in January. And it just kind of, okay, I applied, and I'm thinking I applied to a lot of different platforms, whether it's pitching or for accelerator programs or trying to get in front of VCs or angels. And so I applied for that one, and when I heard that we had been selected as an alternate, I had to scramble around and get on a plane real quickly. So So that was great. That was a big win. I got to go to South by Southwest. I got 2 complimentary badges. I got to be there in the room with VCs and angels and huge audience, and it was just a lot of fun to be there.
What were some of the takeaways or lessons learned you got from South by Southwest in that competition?
Well, we were there as an alternate, so we didn't actually get to pitch.
Oh, okay.
So we were there as a top. There were top 10 finalists, and then there were 3 alternates. But the big takeaway for me with any type of event like that is the networking. The networking is just phenomenal at South by Southwest, and so I was introduced to someone there who worked at the Kauffman Foundation, and then from there they led me to some other people, and they had a meetup going on. So just the networking there, now that's in my database, and they were very interested in what I was doing with ProPlanr and said to stay in touch. And so so my database of people interested in ProPlanr, or people who want to support us and what we're doing, that database is growing, so I'm really grateful for that.
And aside from that, what are some of the key challenges, so what are some of the key challenges you've had to overcome? A lot of startups are difficult. What are some battles that you've had to fight in, and how have you overcome them?
Well, one of the things I noticed when I started attending technology conferences, because as I mentioned, I don't come from the tech world. I come from small business owner, fundraising, and I started attending tech conferences, and I noticed frequently, I was the only Latina in the room, and the only woman in the room, and the only woman over 40 in the room. So I was like, wow, there's a huge imbalance here. So I started seeking out other conferences where there was a focus in empowering women of color in the tech space. So tech inclusion, Melinda and Wayne are doing great work with tech inclusion down in the San Francisco area. They were at South by Southwest. Code 2040, Laura, she's doing great work over there in San Francisco as well. And so I started realizing that if I was going to make progress in this industry, that I needed to surround myself with people who had similar challenges, so that we could all come together and support one another and strategize, like, how are we going to navigate these waters together and rise up together.
Yeah, so that's a really good tip, I think, for other entrepreneurs, is to find your tribe, so to speak, and network with that tribe to overcome any challenges and hurdles, and you get mentorship out of that too, right?
Yes, definitely.
So I think you mentioned earlier that offline that you have been living in Grass Valley, but you're relocating to Sacramento, is that right?
That's right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So have you spent much time in the Sacramento community here?
I actually have. I started coming to the Tweet Ups in Sacramento in 2010, which is how I met Laura Good. And so I just stayed in touch with Laura, and so I was attending Tweet Ups. I've come to a couple of Urban Hive events here, but I'm actually, because we are moving to Sacramento, we've got our house on the market, we're transitioning here. I'm actually going to start working out of Urban Hive's co-working space here in the next month. Great,
you actually were able to get in, because they're really packed.
Yeah, I think I'm going to get the Nomad, the $99 a month, just like have a little space a couple of times a month, so.
All right, so what's next for ProPlanr? You're getting your product out this summer. You're going to be looking for funding. Any other big plans?
Well, I'm hoping. I applied for Fourth Wave, and I'm excited about that. They're going to let us know next week who their final cohorts are. But at this point, I'm just going to keep applying for incubators and accelerators until I get into one. And keep pitching and presenting, as we keep moving along until we find some investors to fund our startup.
Perseverance, yeah. So any last words of advice and tips for other entrepreneurs?
Oh my gosh, if you really believe in your product, perseverance is huge, tenacity is huge. Surround yourself with a tribe of like-minded people that can support you, that really understand what you're doing, because most people, what I have found, especially your immediate friends and family members, have no idea what you're going through. They have no idea what you're doing. So reach out to people that are going through the same experience as you, and find that support system, because you're going to need it.
Yeah. Final thought, I should have done this earlier. How can people find you and ProPlanr? Your website, social media? What are your what's your website address? And
Right. Yeah, I want to encourage everyone to go give ProPlanr a test drive right now. It's in public beta, so ProPlanr planner.com. You can go there today and try it out for free. It's in public beta, and my contact information is on that website as well.
Awesome. Well, best of luck, and thanks for the time.
Thank you, Jeff, for having me.
All right.